They say the beast must be tamed. They preach the gospel of controlled power, precision over pure force, that victory is whispered, not screamed. Lies. All of it is a comforting deception spun by the weak. We are not here to talk about control, we are here to talk about the terrifying transformation of Aryna Sabalenka, the moment she stopped seeking perfection and embraced the raw, explosive chaos within her. She was never supposed to be the steady hand, she was destined to be the earthquake, the shockwave that shattered the silence of the court. But how does a player so prone to the shriek, the double fault, the agonizing unforced error, transmute that volatility into absolute, suffocating dominance? What truly awakened the sleeping giant, shifting her from a talented enigma to a mandatory nightmare on the baseline? Was it simply a coaching tweak, an adjustment of the grip, or the desperate, soul-shaking realization that sometimes, the only way to win is to destroy the opponent's will before they even realize the match has begun? We watched her for years, the wild swings, the potential evaporating under pressure, the racket almost shattering with frustration. Where did that erratic energy drain to, and what monstrous new engine took its place? Before the titles, before the world accepted her reign, there were shadows. Her serve, once her most notorious weakness, a psychological torture device for her own game, transformed. Few comprehend the sheer terror she inflicted upon herself, practicing that serve hundreds of times a day, sometimes hearing phantom sounds of the crowd's mockery even in silence. How, then, did she conjure the demonic precision to unleash back-to-back aces at championship point, weaponizing the very skill that held her captive for so long? And consider her eyes, always wide, always scanning, maintaining an intensity in points that suggested less a competitive spirit and more a predator staking its claim. This unyielding focus stems from a harrowing phase earlier in her career where she adopted a mantra of aggressive neutrality, merely to mask near-panicked internal tension. Watch the footage closely. When she connects, the sound is different. It's not a clean snap, it's a physical, heavy thud, the air itself recoiling from the force, perhaps because she is one of the few women in history consistently generating groundstroke speeds over 100 miles per hour on both wings. What unseen crucible did she endure to hone that velocity, turning her forehand and backhand into twin hammers that demolish any defensive posture? Every point she wins feels less like a victory and more like an imposition, a physical punishment reminding the challenger that they are trapped in her unrelenting storm. Was this power always there, waiting beneath the surface, or was it painstakingly forged in the dark corners of her training, driven by a fear of failure more potent than the desire for success? The answer is less about strategy and more about surrender. Sabalenka ceased fighting her own destructive urges and began channeling them. This is the truth that commentators whisper, but dare not shout. Her control didn't come from calming down, it came from ensuring the target absorbed the full blast. She mastered the art of directed ruin. The true turning point wasn't a technique update, but a cognitive embrace of the inevitable. She realized the margin for error could be obliterated if the pure power intimidated opponents into folding before she even hit the line. It's an unnerving psychological warfare. The most chilling realization, the moment that sends a tremor down the spine of her competitors, is the knowledge that her success is not built on finding peace, but on successfully weaponizing her inner turmoil. We mistake aggression for confidence. What we are witnessing is controlled desperation. When she stares across the net, she isn't seeing an opponent, she is seeing the only obstacle between her and the abyss, and she will demolish it with every fiber of controlled, terrifying force she possesses. She has become the embodiment of relentless pressure, forcing errors, dictating terms, making the court feel claustrophobic. She is the lightning strike stabilized, the pure, untamed electricity harnessed. Aryna Sabalenka stands today as the monumental figure she was always meant to be, not because she found balance, but because she found 1,000 ways to unleash the fury without destroying herself in the process. She is the warning whispered across the net, concede or be consumed. Control is only necessary when one fears the power, true supremacy is achieved when the power dictates the terms of control.